Pastor Peter was a faithful servant of God. However, he began to grow weary of the challenges he was faced with. Frustrated and angry, he went for a walk alone to the river not far from his church. There he spoke into the air, expressing his pain. Though not expected, but Pastor Peter had an encounter with a beautiful and powerful mermaid. The mermaid made a deal with Pastor Peter, promising Pastor Peter a better life of riches and wealth, the power to heal the sick, only for a little price. A price Pastor Peter paid for many years, until a demand was made by the mermaid, a demand Pastor Peter couldn't imagine, a demand that would crumble his world. As the story unfolds, you'll find out how it all began, and how it ends, but first, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and give this video a like. Ensure to turn on your notification bell, so you don't miss more interesting tales from us. Now the story begins. The night was unnaturally still, an unsettling calm that set Reverend Peter on edge. A heavy mist coiled over the narrow path to the river, smothering the wild undergrowth in a pale, ghostly shroud. The crickets chirped sporadically, their rhythm broken, as though nature itself held its breath. His weathered shoes squelched through the damp grass, while his trouser whispered against his legs in the chill breeze. He moved like a man burdened by invisible chains, his eyes hollow, his spirit drained, every step a quiet confession of defeat. He muttered under his breath, words tumbling into the open air like broken teeth. 5 years, Lord, 5 years preaching your word, and not even 5 souls remain in your house. A tired chuckle escaped him, bitter and sharp. He stopped walking and looked around. Not a soul in sight. Just the river, calm, cold, indifferent. Peter knelt at the edge and scooped water into his trembling hands. He didn't drink it. He stared into it, watching his reflection ripple into something unrecognizable. "Maybe you're not there," he whispered, voice barely audible. "Maybe I've been shouting into a void." The wind picked up. "You said you'd provide," he said louder now, pain rising in his throat. "You said the righteous will not beg for bread. But my wife is ill, my daughter's out of school, and your house is emptier than a tomb." He threw a stone into the river, watching the ripples vanish quickly into stillness. "I'm tired, Lord. So tired. If anyone out there is listening, be it an angel, demon, stranger, I don't care. Help me." There was silence. Then the wind shifted. The leaves stopped rustling. The crickets fell silent. Even the river stopped moving. Peter stood abruptly, a chill sliding down his spine. The air grew thick, heavy, charged. Then he heard it. A soft hum. Feminine. Ethereal. It was coming from the water. Slowly, something began to rise from the depths. First, long fingers breaking the surface, then an arm, and finally a figure so striking he stumbled backward. Her skin shimmered like wet bronze in moonlight. Her eyes were wide, hypnotic, glowing faintly like lanterns submerged in fog. Her long, flowing hair appeared to float even when dry. Her body was barely covered by threads of silver, and from the waist down, she was a cascade of glistening scales. He gasped, "Jesus, protect me." The woman stepped forward, standing now on the surface of the water as if it were glass. "There is no need to be afraid, Peter," she said, her voice like a lullaby mixed with thunder. He backed away. "How do you know my name?" "I know all who speak from the heart," she said, her smile unsettling in its grace. "And tonight, your heart screamed, 'I am Mommy Eru, the keeper of tides.' Are you a demon?" he asked, his fingers curling into fists. She laughed softly. "I am older than your words for me. I am a keeper of tides, a daughter of the deep." Peter's knees nearly buckled. "This isn't real." "Yet here I am," she whispered. "Real as your suffering." He looked down, then up again. "Why would you come to me?" "Because suffering calls power," she replied. "And power answers. I'm a pastor. I preach God's word." "And still," she said, tilting her head, "you called for help from anything willing to listen." "That includes me." He was silent. She stepped closer. "I see your hunger, your shame. You lead a flock of ghosts. But you can have a cathedral full of worshippers. You can speak, and the lame will rise. You can touch, and sickness will flee. You can be a god among men." Peter's heart thudded in his chest. "And the price?" She smiled wider. "A small sacrifice. Once a year, you will bring me the soul of a virgin woman, grown, untouched, pure. Each year. No questions asked." His mouth fell open, his words caught in his throat. "That's wicked." "It is a trade," she said simply. "Nothing more." "And if I refuse?" She shrugged. "Then you will remain forgotten, unheard. Your daughter's school fees will vanish with the last money you have. Your wife's cough will become blood. Your church will rot. And you will die alone, clutching a worn Bible no one will read." Peter looked down at his hands. "And if I accept? You rise. You thrive. You shine." He looked into her eyes. Something about them pulled him in. They weren't just glowing, they were alive, watching his very soul. He whispered, "I need time." "You have 7 days," she said. "On the 7th, if you return, our covenant is sealed." And with that, she sank without a splash. That week, Peter barely ate, barely slept. He read the Bible and felt only silence. He prayed and felt only cold. He looked at his sick wife, his empty church, his pale daughter, and on the 7th night, he returned to the river. "I'll do it," he said, trembling. From the water, she rose again, smiling like she had won a silent war. "Good," she said. That Sunday, the miracle began. The pews were packed. A woman in a wheelchair walked after he touched her. A man whose eyes were gray saw his wife's face for the first time in years. Money poured in. Land was donated. Billboards went up across towns. "Come to Reverend Peter's revival." He became a household name. And on the last day of June each year, he would disappear with a quiet woman, some lured from orphanages, others from prayer groups, never to be seen again. He buried the guilt deep beneath miracles. Until year 7. On June 30th, as he prepared his selection, he returned to find the mermaid waiting, sitting at the edge of the waters in a dress of dripping water. "Not her," she said, looking at his chosen girl. "Bring Mercy." He blinked. "Mercy? My daughter." "She is untouched," she said. and you knew the price would rise. She's only 10 years old. She is perfect, she said, or all things unravel. He dropped to his knees. Please, take anyone else. I'll give you 10 others. One soul, she said, or everything burns. He refused, and the next day his hands stopped healing. The crowd scattered. News broke, accusations, arrests, refunds demanded. His wife's illness returned. This time it took her, and Mercy began to scream at night, screams that made mirrors crack. She spoke in tongues no one understood. Her eyes rolled back like the others he had once sacrificed. Peter tried to fight it. He fasted. He tried to cast her out. But every night the river whispered, "She is mine." On July 7th, he carried Mercy to the river. She clung to him weakly, muttering his name through cracked lips. "Papa, please." Mommy Error rose again. Peter fell to his knees in the mud, Mercy beside him. "Take me," he said. "Please. Take me instead." The mermaid looked at him, and for the first time, her smile faded. "You are not pure," she said. "You are nothing but rot now." She touched Mercy's cheek. Peter screamed and grabbed her wrist. "No!" A shock wave of water blasted him backward. But Mommy Arrow didn't take Mercy. She disappeared, and Mercy fell unconscious. Peter awoke alone at dawn, Mercy breathing, silent, eyes blank. She never spoke again. The church was closed. Condemned. Peter wandered the streets barefoot, a cross swinging from his neck, preaching warnings no one believed. "Don't deal with the river," he would cry. "She'll give you gold, then take your soul." And some nights, if you walk by that riverbank, you'll see a pale girl in white, sitting on a rock, her feet in the water, waiting. It had been 9 years since that final night by the river. Reverend Peter, now just old Peter to the villagers, was a shell of the man he once was. His beard grew wild, his eyes were often vacant, and his clothes, once spotless and dignified, were now patched with mud, torn at the edges. He wandered through markets and town centers, speaking softly to no one and everyone. "She waits still," he would mutter. "The river never forgets." Most ignored him. Some pitied him. A few threw stones. But a handful listened. Especially those who'd heard the whispers, rumors about girls who vanished on moonless nights, of soft singing echoing through the forest trails near the river, of dreams that pulled men to the water's edge with a longing they couldn't explain. And then there was Mercy. She lived, yes, but she did not live. She never spoke, never blinked more than once. Her eyes had become permanently widened, glassy. She walked like she floated, sat like she was waiting, and often wandered to the edge of the same river where her father had once bargained away his soul. She never entered the water, only sat, staring. It was on one such night, when the moon was black and the stars blinked out one by one, that the whispers returned. Peter was curled beneath the church ruins, clutching an old Bible with pages missing. A strange wind blew through the broken windows. It carried a sound with it, barely audible, but unmistakable. Singing. His eyes flew open. "No," he whispered. "No, not again." He stumbled outside barefoot, blood trickling from his cracked heels, and turned toward the river instinctively. The sound grew louder as he approached, now mixing with giggles and splashes. He ran. His heart pounded. The trees around the river seemed taller now, darker, looming like ancient judges. And then he saw her. Mercy, standing ankle-deep in the water, her dress clinging to her thin frame. "Mercy!" he screamed. "Come back! Please!" But she didn't turn. She was humming. And the melody, it wasn't hers. From beneath the water, glowing shapes began to flicker, like eyes, dozens of them, watching, waiting. Peter fell to his knees. "Take me! I told you, take me instead." The surface of the water bubbled. And then she rose. Mommy Eru. Only this time, she was not beautiful. Her face was cracked like old porcelain. Her eyes burned red. Her mouth twisted unnaturally wide, revealing rows of jagged, black teeth. "You broke the covenant," she hissed. "The balance is broken. I gave you everything." Peter wept. "Please, have mercy." She grinned. "Mercy is exactly what I'm here for." She reached for the girl, but Mercy raised her hand, and the river shuddered. Mommy Eru paused. Peter's breath caught. Mercy spoke for the first time in years. "No," she said, her voice clear, but layered, as if multiple voices spoke through her. "You cannot take what is already claimed." Mommy Eru recoiled. The river behind her darkened, turning thick, almost oily. Peter stared at his daughter in disbelief. "Mercy!" Mercy turned to him, her eyes glowing faint blue. "She marked me the night you refused her. But something else came too. Something deeper than her. And it chose me." Mommy Eru snarled. "You belong to me." Mercy raised her arms. From the depths of the river, a roar echoed up, a sound like 1,000 drums underwater. The surface split, and something emerged. It was not human, nor mermaid. It was old, colossal, made of water and bone and starlight. Even Mommy Eru stepped back in fear. The river remembers. The being boomed, its voice shaking the earth. "And you, serpent of the shallows, have broken the ancient law. A willing vessel you had. A child you coveted. The debt is reversed." Mommy Eru screamed, thrashing backward into the dark. The river swallowed her whole. The waters turned clear again. The silence returned. Mercy lowered her arms. The glow in her eyes faded. Peter crawled forward, weeping. "Mercy, are you?" She looked down at him, a soft smile forming. "It's over." He pulled her into his arms and sobbed. But from far beneath the riverbed, something still stirred. Because power once invited, never leaves quietly. And now, the river no longer sang. It listened. And waited. The story continues. To watch out for the concluding part of this story, do well to subscribe to this channel, give this video a like, and ensure to turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss out on more interesting stories like this.